Hello friends, welcome to my class. So today's topic of discussion is with respect to Unit 1, that is Introduction to Programming Concepts. Now in general terms, let us try to understand what is programming. Suppose I have a particular problem to be solved. Okay, I want to give this problem to my computer and try to find out a certain solution for this problem. Right now, when I want to solve a particular problem using a computer, then what I have to do is I need to provide certain set of instructions. I have to provide certain set of instructions. Now suppose your mother wants some work to be done by you. Then what does she do? She asks you to come to her and she will instruct you to do that work. Then that work is done. Similarly, for my computer as well, I have to provide certain set of instructions, or I can also call it as certain set of statements, so that the problem is solved. So this set of instructions or statements that I am giving to my computer is called as program. Simple. So if anybody asks what is a program, program is nothing but a set of instructions given to this computer to solve a particular problem. Right. Now when I am saying I am writing a set of instructions, I mean that I require a particular language to communicate with this computer, because the computer does not understand your language. Whatever your mother tongue you use, suppose you are using English, Hindi or Kannada. Okay, so these languages are not understood by my computer. Computer is what? Basically, computer is just a machine, isn't it? Computer is just a machine. Now this machine understands only two digits, 0 and 1. These two digits are nothing but binary digits. So the vocabulary of computer consists of only two digits, that is 0 and 1. So it can be a sequence of 0 0 1 1 0. This kind of sequence is understood by the machine. It will know whether it is addition, subtraction or multiplication with the help of this kind of digits. Okay, but for human beings it is very difficult to remember the sequence of digits like ones and zeros. That is the reason why programming language was developed. Okay, programming language was developed in order to communicate with this computer. So the programming languages example you must have heard. We are having so many languages like C, we are having C++, we have Java, we have Python. So these are many popular programming languages which you must have heard. Okay, so basically what is this programming languages? They help us to write the instructions, that is programs for the computer. Now coming to the definition of software. So what is a software? Software is nothing but the collection of programs. So it is collection of programs built by programming languages. So this is just a general idea about what is a program, what is the meaning of a programming language, and what is software. Right. Now next let us jump to understanding what are the types of programming language. So friends, programming language are basically divided into two types. One comes low level programming language and second one is high level programming language. Now what is low level and high level? Low level programming languages are the ones which are easily understood by the machines. So I can say that they are machine friendly. The machine will easily understand the programs written in low level programming languages. Example of low level programming languages, we are having two types. One is we have machine language, and second we have assembly language. So these machine language and assembly languages are the two types of languages which comes under low level programming language. Now let us go in detail about machine language and assembly language. Machine language is the language which uses digits 0 and 1. So and also this is called as the first generation. This is called as first generation programming language because this was the very first language which was introduced for the computers, and it consisted of only digits, that is 0 and 1s. They are called as first generation. Then since there was very difficulty in understanding and remembering the sequence of zeros and ones by human beings, there was a need to develop a programming language which was more easier for the human beings to understand. So that is the reason where we were introduced with the second generation programming language, that is called as assembly language. Now what does this assembly language have is, it had English like statements. It had English like statements. Now what English like statements it had? English like statement means, suppose I want to perform addition or subtraction, then we simply made use of the words add, subtraction. Suppose I wanted to store a particular value, then I used STA. This was for storage purpose. So these kind of English statements were used in assembly language. These are also called as symbolic constants. Why they are called as symbolic constants? Because they are English like statements. These symbolic constants were named as mnemonics. The meaning of mnemonics is to remember. Clear? So what is assembly language? Assembly programming language, it is a low level programming language, belongs to second generation. It consists of English like statements called as symbolic constants. Example, we have add, sub, STA. Okay, there are many more. These symbolic constants are also called as mnemonics. Mnemonics meaning is to remember, right? So now you must be having a question in mind. Now ma'am, you said the computer does not understand English like statements. It understands only zeros and ones. Then why are we making use of these English statements, and how will the computer understand? Isn't it? So to clear your doubt, now suppose I am having a program which is written in assembly language. Okay. So I am having a program written in assembly language. I have to convert this into machine language. So I am having assembly language program written. So I have to convert into machine language program. Okay, because my computer will finally understand which language? It will understand machine language. It will not understand assembly. Assembly language is for our understanding purpose, but the computer is not understanding. It will understand only machine language, that is 1001 something. So this sequence only is understood by my machine. So what was done is, there was a conversion. There was a conversion happening from assembly language to machine language. So we needed a converter, or I can say we needed an assembler. Okay, so we made use of assembler that performs the conversion. So this assembler did the conversion role of converting this program which was in assembly language to a program that is in machine level language. After conversion, the program was executed by the computer. Now the program written in assembly is also called as source program. This is called as source program. and the program which it has converted into is called as object program. What were the disadvantage of this low level language are? First of all, they are machine dependent. Machine dependent means if I write a program in one computer, the same program cannot be run on the other computer. So this program is suitable for only one computer, but the same program if I try to run in another computer, then it does not work. So that is called as machine dependent. They are difficult to understand and remember. It is difficult to understand and remember. So that is about low level language. Now let's dive into the meaning of high level language. What are high level language? In high level language, the very good advantage what we have is they are machine independent. They are machine independent. If I write a program for this particular computer, then the same program can also be run on another computer with little or no modifications. So that is the meaning of machine independency. It is a very big feature which was introduced in this high level programming language, and this high level programming language is called as third generation programming language. Now what are the examples of this high level programming language? In high level programming language also we are having two types. One, it can be general purpose high level programming language, or it can be specific purpose high level programming language. What is the meaning of general purpose programming language? General purpose means we can use it in teaching field, or we can use it in scientific purposes. When we have specific purpose, then it is with respect to your business or your different applications. So there are two types of high level. One can be general purpose, one can be specific purpose. Now examples of general purpose can be, we are having BASIC, we are having Pascal, we are having C programming language. So these come under general purpose programming languages. When we go to specific purpose, we are having COBOL, we have Fortran, we are having C++, we have we have C#. So these are specific purpose high level languages. Right? Now let us look at the advantages of this high level language. The very important advantage of high level language is that it is very easy to understand. Why it is easy to understand? Because we are using English like statements. English like statements are used. Now in assembly language we made use of mnemonics, that is symbolic constants. In English like statements in high level language means we can use either alphabets, we can use digits, we can use numbers, special symbols, also we can use punctuations. So in dictionary of high level languages we can make use of these elements: alphabets, digits, numbers, special symbols, punctuations, right? So these kind of statements can be used. For example, suppose I want to perform addition of two numbers. To perform addition of two numbers, what do I require? First I require two numbers. So let us take two numbers A and B, and I have to perform addition. Okay, so I can say read A comma B, because I want the computer to read these two values A and B. Then what I have to do? Perform addition. So I can simply write sum is equal to A plus B. Once this is done, I want the result to be printed on the output screen. So I write print sum. Yes. So once this process is done, I have to just stop my program. So let me mention stop. So how many statements I have here? 4 statements. read AB, sum is equal to A plus B, print sum and then stop. So this is nothing but the set of statements which are similar to English, and it's very easy for us to understand. But this is not in computer readable form. The computer cannot read this statement as it is. Okay, because they are English like statement. So what we have to do is we need to provide a intermediary program. Now similarly, like we had for assembly language, here also we have a high level language program. Okay, so let me call it as a source program. Okay, I am having a source program that is a high level language. I have to convert it into object program. Okay, I have to convert into object program. That is nothing but my corresponding machine level language. Okay, so in assembly language what we did, we made use of assembler, so that performed the translation. Here what I have to write is, I have to write a intermediary program. I have to write intermediary program. Now what is this intermediary program? Intermediary program is nothing but it's a translator. So it's a translator which will translate source program to object program. Now this translator for high level languages are further divided in two types. One is interpreter, second one is compiler. Okay, let me just write here, interpreter, and second one is compiler. Now what is the meaning of interpreter and compiler? Whenever I write a particular code, okay, suppose I am writing a particular code line by line, so what my interpreter will do, it will take one line of code and it will execute. It will take second line of code and then it will execute. So that is the meaning of interpreter. Line by line it will take the statements and execute, and if there are any errors, okay, if there are any errors, then the program will stop executing. It will first solve that error and only then move further. So that is the meaning of interpreter. Interpret means line by line it is interpreting the code. If I discuss about compiler, what my compiler will do, if I write my entire code, the compiler will convert the entire source program. It will convert into machine language. Okay, it will translate the entire program at once and then it will execute. So major difference between interpreter and compiler is, interpreter will take line by line, compiler will take the whole program and then convert. So that is the simple difference we have, right? So we are making use of intermediary program in high level language, that is called as a translator. In translator we are having two types. So either your programming language can use interpreter or it can make use of a compiler, right? So this is about high level programming language. Very first advantage we saw is it is easy to understand because we are having English like statement. Second important advantage of high level language is that it is easy to write, debug. Okay, so debugging and writing programs is very easier. Third important point is it is machine independent. That is very important advantage what we have in high level programming language. That means it provides user convenience to write a particular program which can be run on this machine or this machine, any machine you can write. It might require certain modifications, but it is highly independent, machine independent, and this characteristics of highly independency of machine is called as portability. Portability means I can port the program from one machine to another. That is called as portability, right? So this completes your types of programming language. Now let us discuss about classification of software. Basically, softwares are divided into three types. First, we have application software. Second, we have system software. And third, we have utility software. So these are the three types of software we have. One is application software, system software and utility software. Now let us discuss one by one. What is the meaning of application software? Application software are nothing but general purpose programs. They are general purpose programs. General purpose program means what? They are written by the users to solve a particular problem in his or her area of interest. So any problem in particular area of interest. Problem in particular area of interest can be solved with the help of these general purpose programs. Okay, for example, I have school or college library management system. Okay, suppose I have library management system, or I can have hospital management system. Okay, I can have hospital management system. So these kind of problems which are specific to a particular area, they can be solved with the help of application softwares. Now anybody who knows programming language, okay, and also has problem solving capacity can write these application softwares. Now another example of this application software can be word processors. You must have seen in your laptop, you have word processors, you have MS Excel. Okay, so these are the applications which you are using. They are called as application software. Now what are system softwares? System softwares are the programs which are written by the manufacturer. So the manufacturers of your computers, they write the system programs. Okay, they are also called as supervisory programs. Supervisory programs. Why supervisory? Now if you are sitting for an exam, okay, so you all have to write your exam paper. Yes, you have to solve your papers. Now there will be a supervisor who enters and checks whether each student is performing properly, he is writing his exam. Yes, so he is supervising. Under his supervision you are performing your tasks. Same way, computer has a lot of tasks to do. In order to supervise the different kinds of programs which are going on in a computer, there will be a supervisory program, and that will be provided by your manufacturer. Now this system softwares are further divided into three types. They are further divided into three types. So we are having operating system, we have language processor, and we have system utilities. So these are the three types of system softwares. One is operating system, language processor and system utilities. You have an entire subject of system software in your engineering in upcoming semester, where we will be discussing in detail about these topics. Operating system itself is one more subject which you will be having in upcoming semesters. Right. Now let us just understand a brief knowledge about the system softwares. So operating system, language processor and system utilities. What is operating system? Have you used Windows, Android? Yes. So these are the operating systems. Why do I require operating system? Is it required in your phone? Suppose you are having a phone and there is no Android operating system. What will happen? It will not be very interactive. Yes? Yes, it will not be interactive. Similarly, for computer also, suppose there is no Windows. It's just a machine. Can you work on that machine? No, because it is not having operating system. So, without an operating system, any machine on this planet will be a useless monster. So you will definitely require operating system. Now what is operating system? This is nothing but a program or a collection of program Okay, it acts as an interface. It acts as an interface. So it is also a collection of programs which is written by the manufacturer itself and comes under system software, provides an interface for the user and the computer. So a user can communicate with the computer very well with the help of this operating system, because it makes it more attractive. Now, what are the functions of this operating system? The functions of this operating systems are, it will manage your memory. Okay, it will manage your memory, then it will also look after the processing. It will look after the devices, which are the input devices, output devices. Yes, so this all coordination will be done with the help of operating system. Next we have language processor. Now what is language processors? Language processors are nothing but it provides translation programs. Language processor provides translation programs. What are the translation program we have discussed in previous class? Translation means from source program to object program. Example, we have studied about interpreters. Yes, interpreters. We have compilers. Yes, we have compiler, we have assembler. So these are the translation programs which we make use of. This comes under the category of language processor. Next we have system utilities. What are the meaning of system utilities? In system utilities we are having two types of programs. One is we have loading and second is we have linking. Now these system utilities are basically written for object program. It is written for object program. Object program means what? The machine language program which we get at the end. Okay, for that object program we make use of system utilities to load that particular program in the memory and then provide a linking. So loading and linking happens in the system utility programs. Clear? Last we have utility software. Utility softwares are what? They are just ready-made routines. Ready-made routines means, the meaning of routines is they are function. So these are just ready-made available in your computer to provide support to the system softwares and application softwares. So they are just ready-made functions available in your computer. So these are the basic classifications of software. We are having three types. One is application, system and utility. Application softwares are written by whom? They are written by our end users. System softwares are written by whom? They are written by manufacturers. And utility software, they are just ready-made routines or functions provided to the users or the manufacturers. So this is about the classification of softwares.